The striped bass is America's most popular saltwater sport fish. It is pursued by an estimated 3 million recreational anglers, and it's accessible to everyone. It can be readily caught from shore or boat. The economics of recreational striped bass fishing are astonishing. The recreational fishery resulted in direct retail sales of over $2.4 billion. It also resulted in over $18 million in state income taxes, $105 million in state sales taxes, and $290 million in federal taxes. It also contributed the equivalent of over 63,000 full-time jobs. With game fish status, the economic impact will be even more dramatic. In fact, a total of $1.79 billion in new economic activity and over 14,000 new jobs would likely be created by eliminating commercial fishing for striped bass and reallocating the present commercial allotment to recreational fishing. Let's take a look at commercial striped bass fishing as it exists today. There are about 10,000 commercial fishermen. That means 300 recreational fishermen to each commercial fisherman. Now, almost none of the commercial fishermen rely on striped bass for their livelihood. In most cases, they are recreational anglers who sell their catch to pay for their fishing expenses. Unfortunately, along with this practice, there is frequent use of destructive gear. It's not only destructive to the fishery, but also to the broader ecosystem. There is also a well-documented abuse of the harvest quota. When apprehended, these violators of the law have been successfully convicted. The many thousands of members of Stripers Forever are advocating game fish status, and one reason is the fairness factor. The recreational harvest currently amounts to less than 1 fish per angler per year. To protect commercial quotas, coastal recreational size limits are set so high that most anglers never catch a fish large enough to legally keep. Game fish designation gives every citizen exactly the same harvest right. Striped bass taste great, and a lot of people like to eat them. However, there is an alternative to commercial harvest, and that's aquaculture. Striped bass are a great aquaculture fish. Current production is about 1.6 times the commercial catch, and it is both infinitely expandable and costs about the same per pound for consumers. And there's another consideration. There are health advisories posted for wild striped bass due to mercury and PCB contaminants. Plus, the effects of mycobacteriosis, which is found in most Chesapeake Bay striped bass, are unknown. Also, striped bass aquaculture generally uses earthen rearing ponds away from the coast, thus eliminating issues sometimes associated with aquaculture carried out in ocean pens. In the United States, we have a long history of managing and conserving wildlife. Our experience has taught us that wildlife that is harvested commercially is doomed to low population levels. We've learned other things as well. The legal commercial market facilitates the illegal market, and managers of commercial fisheries have incentive to allow overharvest, not to conserve. On the other hand, the healthier the population, the more valuable the recreational fishery becomes. This creates a positive incentive to maintain healthy populations. Recreational fishing retains much of its value during times of low population through catch and release. This simply isn't possible in commercial fishing because live release isn't an option. Finally, the precedent for removing commercial pressure by allowing only a personal use harvest is widespread in wildlife management. This isn't something new. Take, for example, almost all freshwater species, as well as deer and ducks. The movement for game fish status for striped bass has come a long way. In fact, game fish status has already been adopted by Maine, New Hampshire, Connecticut, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Washington, D.C., and South Carolina. However, there are a number of states that are still holding out. In fact, President Bush signed an executive order directing the federal government to make the striped bass a game fish in federal waters and encouraging states that haven't already done so to adopt this management tool within their state waters. Building on these successes, Stripers Forever and its allies have introduced federal legislation while volunteers and staff work on state-by-state legislation. So as you can see, the facts and the tide are on the side of game fish status. We've had significant victories, but the battle isn't over yet. Here's what you can do to help. As an individual, you can join Stripers Forever. It's quick and free. You can write a letter to your elected officials and fisheries managers. You can join a local saltwater fishing conservation group that supports striped bass as a game fish. If you're in a sporting club, you can encourage your members to get involved in the striped bass conservation effort. And if you're a member of the business community, you can write or visit your elected officials, fisheries manager, and local chamber of commerce about the importance of striped bass fishers' economic impact on your business. Please visit www.stripersforever.org to find detailed information on all of the points in this presentation. Thank you.